Hi, friends. In today's episode, we are sharing all the details about our 7-day road trip through Southern California, including 2 fantastic hotels for families that we paid $0 to stay at. Listen in. Hi, I'm Rhea.
And I'm Dwayne.
And we are your hosts of the Travel Party of 5 podcast, where we share how we travel as a family of 5 around the world.
We will also share how we use points and miles to travel as affordably as possible and sometimes even completely free.
So if you're wanting to travel more with your family, but you're not sure how, we'd love for you to listen in.
So welcome to our podcast, where we hope you learn a thing or two to get you closer to your next trip.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to Travel Party of 5 podcast.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
We are glad you are here. And so today's episode, we just got back 2 days ago from a 7-day road trip through Southern California. So we did Carlsbad, Oceanside, and downtown San Diego with all 3 kids. And we're going to be sharing where we stayed, what it cost, and the activities that we did. So if you have a Southern California trip coming up, this is the episode for you. So we drove from Phoenix. We started out in Carlsbad. And I guess let me preface this by saying that we have stayed in 2 of the hotels that we're about to talk about previously. And so we won't spend a ton of time on those 2 because we have a whole episode about specifically hotels. But our opinion has changed on one of them, I think. And so we did want to talk about that. Okay, so let's start. So we left Phoenix Friday before the 4th of July holiday, and we drove to Carlsbad, and we stayed for 2 nights in Carlsbad at the Park Hyatt Aviara in Carlsbad.
Which is such a nice, beautiful hotel.
It was wonderful. This was the new hotel for us of this trip. So we had never stayed there before, and we've actually never stayed at a Park Hyatt before.
No, we have not.
So this was our first Park Hyatt experience. And if you are a new listener, basically Park Hyatt is the nicest of the Hyatt brands.
Yes.
And so this particular hotel is a category 7. Hyatt hotels are ranked on a scale of 1 through 8. So 8 being the absolute nicest, most luxurious. And so this is a 7. So almost the most luxury you can get. Yeah. And it is bookable on points between 30 and 40,000 points a night, depending on whether it's on peak or off peak or regular. So I think what we paid was 35,000 points a night, if I'm not mistaken. And let's talk about it. So we did nothing but stay at the hotel. We never left for 2 nights. We parked and we never left.
No. Again, this hotel was beautiful. I mean, the landscaping, the lobby, everything, the service.
Yes.
And then let me just add that we went in thinking that it wasn't going to be as family friendly as, other places. But I mean, this place there were families everywhere.
Yeah, we thought it would be maybe a little more stuffy, a little more like, I don't know, uppity, snobby kind of clientele. And it wasn't like that at all. There were kids literally everywhere.
Yeah.
And
definitely a family-friendly hotel.
Yes. All we did was hang out by the pool and eat food. They have some fairly decent food at the hotel. They had really good sushi. It's not cheap, but when you pay using points to stay there, you're more inclined to splurge on the food. And we just really didn't want to drive anywhere. However, this hotel is very close to Legoland. So if you were planning a Legoland trip and also wanted a little bit of a luxurious stay, this would be the place that I would stay.
Yeah.
If you want more budget, there's also a Hyatt house or place that's really close to that would be way less points, but also way less luxury and fanciness. So the one thing about this hotel that was cracking me up is, remember, we got back to our room the first day. So we checked in on Friday and we went to the pool. and we basically let the kids. No, I'm sorry. No, we checked in Friday. We had dinner. Then we went to the pool and we let the kids swim for a couple of hours. And we didn't go back to the room until maybe 8 something.
Oh, it was a little bit later, but whatever.
And when we got back to the room, the shades were drawn and you were like, did you close the shades? And I was like, no. I said, I bet you they did turn down service. And you were like, what is that? Tell them what it is.
I mean, I don't really know. They just came in, they got your room ready for bed, added some chocolates bedside and some water.
Yeah, they basically prepare your room for bedtime.
I never knew they did that before.
Yeah, it was. So they drew the shades, they left water by the bedside with a water glass and little chocolates. And so our kids fought over the chocolates because they only brought 2 the first night. And I mean, it's just like a little added luxury, I think. It was nice.
Yeah, it was definitely nice. I mean, in my opinion, it's not needed. But I mean, for luxury, I mean, yeah,
luxury.
Nice. Yeah,
I enjoy it. It makes me feel pampered. And so when we were in Italy, I think my first turn down experience was when I was in Italy just last month, and they also did it at that hotel, the Il Tornabuoni in Florence. And that hotel, they did all those things. It wasn't chocolate; it was little candies. They brought water, but the floors were hardwood, and they would also put down. There was a mat that goes right next to the bed, so they would like lay out the mat for you to step on before you got into bed, so that you could like wipe your feet before you got into the bed.
So when do they remove that mat? Housekeeping does it?
Yeah, housekeeping does it. They roll it up and they like put it back under the bedside table.
Oh, okay.
And then at turn down, they like unroll it for you and put your slippers there. Yeah, it just feels.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a nice touch.
Yeah. So anyways, the pool. Let's talk about the pool.
Pool, they have a really nice pool. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Big enough.
2 water slides.
2 water slides, a jacuzzi, pool service.
Yeah, good service.
Yeah. They had a couple fire pits by the bar. Right?
Yes. Yep.
Not too many, but they have an adult pool as well. So if you go there without kids, that's always nice.
Yeah, because it was very loud and splashy at the regular pool, and there was a ton of kids.
Yeah.
So.
And there's also a little sandy area that we didn't realize until
the second day. Yeah. And so our kids played there for a bit. I will say, so I had heard that the water slides at this hotel were really fantastic. And I think they were, but like one of them is like you're exposed to the sky and one of them is completely dark. And our kids went on it one time and were like, it was pitch black in there and they never went on it again, which is unusual for them. So then I went on it thinking like, what is this going to be like? And it was fun. I didn't think it was scary at all, but the kids didn't go on it more than once. So
did I go down the slide?
Yeah. And then we tried to have our youngest go down, but she was too small.
Yep.
So. Okay, so we did 2 days in Carlsbad, and then we left Carlsbad and we went to Oceanside, which was, a 20-minute drive, maybe?
Yes.
So in Oceanside, we stayed at the Seabird, and that hotel we've stayed at before and we've talked about before, and so probably won't go into it much on this trip.
We love that place.
But we love it. Just think like Cape Cod vibes on the California coast. It's directly across from the beach. It has incredible amenities for families that are all included when you pay with points or cash, like free beach chairs, beach umbrellas, boogie boards, surfboards if you wanted, the whole, like whatever you could want.
And it's literally right across the street from the beach.
So nice. And the only bummer about that hotel is that when we went last year, we went in October, and so it was not as crowded because it's October and it's not as warm in California. And we had this really incredible lunch. Like we went to the beach in the morning and then we went back to the hotel. We sat on the patio at one of the hotel restaurants and it was really foggy and the kids were all wrapped in towels. And we just had this like fun kind of snacky lunch with a charcuterie board and a cheese plate and a lobster mac and cheese. And the food was really good.
Yep.
And this year they have changed the menu and they don't have any of those things.
Yeah. Which
I was so disappointed about that because it was delicious. Like the cheese plate had honeycomb and like little toasts and all different kinds of jams and spreads and meat and cheese, and it was delicious, and they didn't have it anymore. So that was a bummer to me. But we did find a couple of good restaurants in Oceanside to eat at. One of them was Italian, and the food was actually quite good. It was called
Blade
1936.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we also had brunch at a restaurant called Toasted.
Yep.
And that was good too.
Yep.
Both walkable from the hotel. So
yep.
Again, we parked and we never left.
Yeah. So yeah, we were disappointed about that. And then we were also disappointed about breakfast one day.
Oh, that's right. The breakfast wasn't very good.
Which, I mean, the last time we were there, breakfast was excellent, but it's because we had the breakfast buffet.
And I think they only do the buffet on the weekends.
Yes. So we were there on a Monday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. So they didn't have the buffet.
The buffet was the most incredible breakfast buffet I've ever seen at any hotel ever.
Yeah. It was very, very.
It was massive.
Yeah. And they had all types of food.
So many options.
Yeah. But this time, I think their menu changed again in the restaurant. Our server just wasn't the best.
Yeah.
My potatoes came out cold, which...
And Dwayne isn't one to complain about food. Like, he doesn't even really care about the temperature. I care about the temperature of my food, but he does not. But they were ice cold.
I mean, they were cold. Like, I don't even...
So, yeah. So we didn't go back the second day. We just found that Toasted place. But the Toasted place was good. And honestly, probably cost less than it would have had we eaten at the hotel anyways. So.
But again, don't let that deter you from this property because it's definitely a nice property.
Yes. And if you are there on a weekend... The breakfast buffet is worth it.
Yep.
And if you're globalist, it's free.
Yep.
So
and the pool here, though, is quite small. I mean, it's not a big property, so the pool is not very big. The first day we got there, we had to walk around for a minute to find chairs.
Yep. But it's summer in California, so I think that's...
So,
and it was 4th of July week, so
it was packed.
Crowded. But we did find chairs.
Yep.
And... It's nice because no matter where you sit, you can see your kids in the pool.
Yeah. And from the pool, you have a great view of the ocean.
Yes. The other really fun thing about this property that was different than the last time we stayed was they had a game room set up for the kids. And they didn't have that last year. And first Dwayne went in and was kind of like, oh, yeah, it's okay. But like, no. It's okay from an adult point of view. But our kids loved it.
Yeah, I mean, they had cornhole, ladder golf, tables set up to play board games, to color. They had a TV set up in the corner to play movies. They had one arcade game that came with a bunch of Pac-Mans, some Galaga. Then they had ping pong. Did I say ping pong? Jenga. They also had these things that the kids could climb on. These like little...
Yeah, like almost like these big blocks.
Yeah.
And they could make a fort with it. Our kids were doing parkour, as they called it, jumping from block to block. Yeah,
so I mean, it was great for the kids, for sure.
We went every single day.
Yeah.
And they asked to go every single day.
Yeah.
So it was basically like 2 big meeting rooms opened, like their ballroom, I guess.
Yeah.
And filled with all these things. So plenty of room for the kids to run and jump. And if it was like a rainy day, that would be perfect.
Yeah. Definitely a nice touch during the summer.
Yeah. But yeah, so we love the Seabird. We will go again next year. And so, like, I think Oceanside is often overlooked because it's kind of in the middle of San Diego and LA, and it's not super easy to get to, but it is one of our favorite spots in California.
Yes, it's definitely a nice place.
Okay, and so then we did 2 nights. So 2 nights at the Park Hyatt, 2 nights at the Seabird. So we got kind of a pool vibe and ocean vibe. And then we went to downtown San Diego. We stayed at the Manchester. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me talk about the Seabird really quick. It's a category 6. So you're looking at roughly 25,000 points a night to book there.
Yeah, can't forget that.
Okay, so then we went to downtown San Diego. We stayed at the Manchester Grand Hyatt.
Yep.
The entire reason we did that was because, why don't you tell the story about last year?
So last year we stayed there around the same time. Actually, it was the same time. So we stayed at the Manchester Grand Hyatt from like the 1st to the 3rd. And when we checked in...
It was just one night.
Just one night. When we checked in, the guy's like, oh, when are you checking out? We're like, oh, we leave tomorrow, which was the 3rd. And he's like, oh, man, this is one of the best places to watch fireworks on the 4th because, you know, they shoot them off right from the bay there. That's right there by the hotel.
Yeah. And so we were disappointed because, first of all, we tried to stay there for the 4th and there was no availability. So we went to, I think, the Hyatt in La Jolla.
Yeah, La Jolla.
And we had planned purposely to go back this year and stay there on the 4th to see the fireworks.
We were hoping, because we have, you know, young kids, that we would be able to see them from the hotel room.
Yes.
But when Rhea checked in, the lady at the front desk, or the guy, whoever it was, said that we would not be able to see him from the hotel. He said you could, but you would have to, like,
crane your neck and, like, look out the corner of the window. So obviously that's not going to work for 5 people. But they were like, you'll for sure see them on the 4th floor. That's where the pool is. Yeah. And so we were like, okay. We had a few hiccups at check-in, I'll say, and it just wasn't the best experience. They did end up sending us a bottle of champagne to kind of make up for it. But so long story short, I had emailed prior to our stay, specifically at this property, just saying like, hey, you know, we're celebrating Dwayne's birthday on this trip because his birthday was just like last month, and asking if either we could get an upgrade from a 2 double bedroom to a 2 queen bedroom, or if we could use my club access award that I have earned. I have 2 actually, and I've been trying to apply it for like a month, and every time I call, they tell me the club is full. And I had said, like, can we put a happy birthday note or something in the room? Like all things that I have had success doing at many other properties, and always gotten a response, and it's always been favorable. I mean, in Italy and Paris, they gave my sister a cake because we were there celebrating her birthday.
Well, when we went to New York for your birthday, I had them. I called and had some champagne and some chocolates.
So this is something that we have done frequently and with really good success. And not only did I get no response to my first email, but then they sent me an automated email like welcoming us to the property, which I responded to, and I also got no response to that. So that was frustrating and not the best experience going like before we even got there. And so I didn't love that. It's not the warm, fuzzy feeling that we normally get from Hyatt, but here's what I will give the property some grace because it was a holiday weekend. They were completely booked. And what we didn't realize prior to going there is that apparently every year there is a huge dance competition.
It's like a state competition.
And the participants stay at this hotel.
Yeah. So last year when we went, it was going on same time. This year we got there going on again. So it's an annual thing they must do.
Yes. And we didn't
realize which we weren't aware of, but we are now.
And we will never go back to that hotel for the 4th of July.
Yeah. I mean, the place was packed. The pool there. First of all, this property is enormous. Huge. There's got to be at least 1,000 rooms, at least. And the pool is the size, you know, it'll work great for a hotel that has maybe 300 rooms. So the pool is very small. There aren't a lot of chairs. Well, there's a few, but I mean, you have to fight for them.
The pool is really small considering the size of the pool deck too. Like the pool deck is actually quite large.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, there's cabanas. Yeah. Cabanas you can buy, which were pretty expensive.
A family cabana was $600 to rent for the day, and there was none available even if we wanted to, but we would never pay $600 to rent a cabana.
But again, I mean, with this dance competition going on, there were people, kids, everywhere.
It was just not a relaxing vibe. No. One guy asked Dwayne, "Oh, like what dance, whatever, are you with?" And Dwayne was like, we're just here on vacation."
And he looked at me and was like, "Oh, like we're sorry."
We were like, "Yeah."
So I mean, the one lady, the guy's wife, was telling me that there were so many people waiting for the elevator one day that staff had to direct them to the staff elevator, which I mean, it's crazy. And the elevators here this is the first time I've seen the elevator like that. It's where you run your key card, you scan your key card, and then you pick your floor. It's like a computer screen, and you pick your number, the floor you're going to go to. Pretty cool concept, but first time I've ever seen that. You said that it was like that in Europe?
At the Hyatt Regency Étoile in Paris.
Yeah.
You do that, and then it tells you what elevator to go to.
Yeah, it tells you the elevator to go to. I'm sure they're all going to be like that here pretty soon.
So this hotel, the Manchester Grand Hyatt, is a Category 5 Hyatt. So it used to be a Category 4, and you could use your free Category 1 through 4 night certificates here. You can't do that anymore. So I think Category 5s range from 17,000 points a night to 23,000 points a night, depending on whether you're on or off peak or regular. We paid the higher end of that because it was obviously a holiday weekend. We wouldn't go back, probably.
No.
We definitely wouldn't go back for the 4th, and we may not ever go back. I don't know.
No.
But here's the thing. Here's the good things about the hotel. It is a really good location.
Great location.
You can walk to like the little seaport village and whatever that Navy ship is right there. And they do have a lot of activities for kids. So they have pickleball courts, they have basketball courts, they had
a rooftop theater, which is
yes,
a third party that's ran by a third party.
Oh, is it? I know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have like all these chairs set up and they do movies, which would be really fun. We didn't do that.
They have a bar up there.
Yeah. And it's like a really cute little rooftop area. So they have a lot of stuff for kids. And
don't get me wrong, the hotel's nice.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
It's a Grand Hyatt. It's very nice. Like, I don't want this to come off like we're ungrateful. It just wasn't. And you know what? It could potentially be our fault too, because we went from the incredible Park Hyatt to then the Seabird, which I would categorize them as almost the same, even though they're slightly different categories. Like, just the feeling of you get of luxury there is high. And then we went to this Grand Hyatt and it just wasn't as nice. So, oh, and housekeeping didn't even make one of our beds one day. They made one bed, not the other. And I couldn't tell you the reasoning. So it was just little things like that we were kind of like, what? Like, and again, these are small first world problems. Like, we fully recognize that. I just want to be really transparent with anyone listening, because I would never want to say that a property was phenomenal and then have you go there and be like,
and be disappointed.
This is what you think is phenomenal. Like, no. So we're just sharing our honest experiences.
Yeah. And back to the 4th and the fireworks. So the pool deck, we literally got there at probably like 10:30 in the morning.
Yes.
To find a good spot, because everyone's like, the pool deck, you can see the fireworks. They shoot them off barges in the water. And there's like 3 or 4 of them in the little bay there. So everyone's telling us, go to the pool. You'll see the fireworks. Great location. So we got there at 10:30. We didn't leave until about 10 p.m. So we were there for, 12 hours.
Yes. With all 3 kids.
With all 3 kids.
Hey guys, I want to interrupt this episode really quick just to invite you to follow us over on Instagram at Travel Party of 5. We post a lot of behind the scenes videos and stuff of our travels, including hotel tours and all that fun stuff. So again, at Travel Party of 5 on Instagram. Thank you. Back to the episode.
So we were on the pool deck for about 12 hours to see these fireworks. And I mean, again, this place was packed. So the pool deck was just full of people, kids, parents, you name it. So then fireworks start and we're thinking we have a good spot for them. And we kind of didn't. So we spent the whole day trying to reserve a spot to watch these fireworks for the kids.
Asked so many different people, where are the fireworks going to shoot off? And they were like, they kept gesturing all in the same general area. Yeah. So we're like, okay.
So this pool deck has these little, I don't know.
It has a very Greek vibe.
Yeah, so there's like pillars.
There are columns.
Columns,
like
there you go.
Columns
yes.
all over the place.
Yes. Which I think is just...
It needs the patio needs to be redone.
Yes, it's an eyesore, I think.
The columns are crumbling. Like, if you look at the bottom, they're crumbling.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're structurally sound, but it needs to be redone, and it probably will be redone if I had to guess in the next few years.
I think they just need to remove them. Like,
they completely blocked our view of the fireworks.
Yeah, completely blocked our view after being there for freaking 11 hours.
And remember that the fireworks were the reason that we stayed at this hotel.
So, I mean, it was quite disappointing. That's another reason why we were like, you know what?
It was just a lot.
We might be done staying here, but...
Here's the thing. We didn't say this to the kids. The kids loved it. The kids thought it was great. our oldest wanted to watch the fireworks from in the pool.
Yes.
So he actually had been out of the pool most of the day and got back in the pool specifically for that. And he was like, this is the best ever. So like take what we're saying as adults with a grain of salt, because the kids thought it was fantastic. But we did not have an unobstructed view of these fireworks. Like we could see maybe half of them. The rest of them were blocked by these columns. And so
it was just disappointing, putting that much time into and effort into this and then not having a clear shot.
Yes. So here's what I would say. And here's the pro tip. Okay. If you're going to go to this hotel for 4th of July fireworks, the best spots on the pool deck are by the fire pit.
Yes.
Or like standing by the hot tub looking out.
Yes.
So fire pit would be where I would aim to sit next
but
year.
Again, you have to reserve that spot.
Oh, yeah. We don't even know how long those people were there for.
And there are no like chase lounges there. Everyone that was there was sitting in like chairs. Yeah. Like normal chairs.
So they did tell us that if we had gone, like you can go down to the Seaport Village and just walk out and see them, which
probably would have been a lot better.
Yeah, but we didn't do that.
But I mean, there were people down there setting up tents and canopies, all day long.
Yeah. Dwayne went out we ordered dinner and Dwayne went and picked it up just from a little taco place right by the hotel.
I mean, it's packed. I mean, it was craziness.
Yeah. Like you're supposed to be able to buy food at the pool, but the food option disappeared at some point throughout the day. I think they were just overwhelmed.
Yes, they were.
So we ordered our own takeout and brought it in. No one said anything to us. It was fine. But you said it was really packed down there.
Oh, yeah. There was people everywhere.
Before the fireworks,
there was people everywhere.
So not every vacation goes according to plan, I guess. Yeah. There's always some disappointing things, but we're always still grateful that we get to do this. We spent literally 7 nights in hotels. The only thing we paid for was we had to pay for self-parking at the last hotel, the Manchester Grand Hyatt.
Which isn't cheap either.
No, it's $45 a day or a night.
Valet's like $65 a day.
Yeah. And we always ask, is there any way you can waive the parking at checkout? And normally they say yes, but the only caveat is if there is if the parking is not managed by Hyatt. So because this is a downtown property, the parking is like you park in a garage and it's not owned. The garage is not owned by Hyatt. So Hyatt basically pays to use this garage. So whenever that's the case, they never waive the parking, which I understand. So we paid $135 total for 7 nights to stay. So I would say well worth it. We did do one fun activity, which was we went to the San Diego County Fair.
Yes.
This was our 2nd year doing that. That was fun. We did that staying at the Grand Hyatt.
Yeah.
My pro tip for that is if you want to go to the fair and you have a Costco membership, go to Costco and they have a ticket bundle you can buy for $100.
4 tickets for $100.
4
free
tickets
parking.
plus parking.
Yeah, plus
for
parking.
$100. And kids 5 and under are free. So we only needed 4 tickets, so that was perfect. You still and you get 40 ride tickets. Yeah. So
which isn't a lot when you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
We also went on wristband day, which I think in hindsight we probably would have did that because
we ended up buying an extra $50 in
probably
tickets,
$50-$60 extra in tickets.
Yeah.
So we spent $100 in tickets roughly, and 2 wristbands would have cost the same and unlimited rides. So that's the pro tip for that.
Yeah, but the San Diego County Fair is really fun. It goes on for a whole month, and I mean it's our 2nd year in a row going, and we really enjoyed it. Yeah.
And the weather's always nice in San Diego, so I mean it was a little hot that day, but
it was good.
Not hot enough to not enjoy it.
Our kids got to hold a tarantula and a scorpion.
Oh yeah, I held a scorpion too, which I'll never probably do again, but
that was cool. That's the only activity that we did. We really tried to gear this trip around relaxation and enjoying the hotels because some of these hotels are just so fantastic and they have so many amenities that you don't have to leave. And so that's what we really tried to do on this trip. The other thing we did, which we should probably talk about, is the Wolf in the Woods restaurant.
Yes. So yeah, like she said, we only had 2 things planned for this entire trip: was the San Diego Fair and to eat dinner at Wolf in the Woods. Why? Because I grew up with the head chef there, and she's a really good friend of mine. Shout out to Chef. So we went there and we literally almost ordered the whole menu, and nothing disappointed us.
It was so good. Let me preface this by saying this is not a really kid-friendly restaurant.
No.
We specifically asked her if we could bring our kids before we even considered it, because if she said no, then we just were going to have to go back a different time. But she was like, yes, kids are absolutely welcome, but the only thing I really have for them is burgers. And we were like, oh, that's fine. Our kids will eat burgers. So she booked us on the patio. It's a small restaurant. It's really in a a very nice residential area.
Mission Hills.
Yep.
Really, really nice area.
You feel like you're driving to someone's house, and then all of a sudden, poof, there's this restaurant. So we sat outside. We were there for like 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
Our kids were so well behaved.
Yes.
I was shocked.
Yes.
We did prep them several times.
Well, we prepped them
leading up to it.
Yes.
Like
quite a few days.
You're going to get a burger.
Yeah.
And you're going to be good.
This is a nice place.
Yes. So we dressed up. But they were fantastic. And not one time did they even watch an iPad, a screen, a phone, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even I believe it was the owner of the restaurant, told my friend, the chef, that these kids are well behaved.
Yeah. Which is not something we hear very often.
No.
In full transparency.
Yeah.
Our kids they are kids.
Yes.
So,
yes. Handful.
But even they loved the food. Our oldest asked for a second burger.
Yes, which my friend
ate it.
Yes. My friend went back to the kitchen to make.
They have this smoked French trout fish roe kind of thing. So it's like toasted crackers, like a mascarpone, hard-boiled egg, like capers mix. Yeah. And then you put smoked fish eggs on top, and it was so delicious, and all 3 of our kids tried it.
And let me just
they tried fish eggs. I was like, what?
Let me add, we don't usually go to places like this, and every time a server brought out some food for us to eat, I was like, hey, how are we supposed to eat this?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, you know what, I would mix this and then spread it on the cracker and then the roe or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was quite a nice establishment for sure.
It was very
good.
I'm
super happy for my friend. She's doing big things.
Thank you, Carmine.
Yes.
She her restaurant, or this restaurant, was voted best restaurant in San Diego this year.
Yeah. It's only been open 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a fancy dinner for like a couple's night out in San Diego, would 1,000% go back there.
And she used to be head chef at a place that we enjoy going to every time we go to San Diego, the Great Maple.
Yeah, Great Maple.
Is
like
another
joint.
Yeah. Really, really good food.
Which has also won awards. She designed their menu prior to Wolf in the Woods.
Yes. So she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. So those were our only 2 plans, was the fair and go to her restaurant. Both were a great time.
Yeah.
And this was the first vacation we've had in a really long time where I actually felt like I relaxed. And I think that I was able to do that because we go to California pretty regularly, and I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything.
Yeah.
Because
usually we have an agenda, an itinerary to follow.
And as much as I try to not pack it full, it's just really hard to want to see the things you want to see in a limited time.
Yeah.
Because, we do work full time. We don't have unlimited PTO, and our kids are in school. So we just don't have an unlimited amount of time to travel. So got to find the balance. But this was a really, really, really nice trip to just relax. We spent a lot of time at the pool, had some drinks and some pool snacks, and just let the kids be kids. And it was really fun.
Yeah.
So if you are planning a trip to Southern California, I hope that this was helpful. Please let us know if you have questions. Find us on Instagram at TravelParty5. And as always, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a review, either a review on iTunes or I think you can just a rating. That's what it's called, a rating on Spotify. It really helps more people find our podcast, and we are so grateful to you. One last thing I wanted to throw in. I feel like we are constantly talking about Hyatt. And it's true. Number one, because we're trying to get globalist this year. But number two, I think it is the easiest way to get started in points and miles is to use your points to book a hotel. Okay. You don't need to fly, drive somewhere and get a few free nights in a hotel and let that be your introduction to using points, because I think it's just a low lift. It's super easy. And Hyatt is for sure the hotel that gives you the most bang for your buck in terms of points.
Yep.
So for a 60,000 point Chase Sapphire sign up bonus, you could have gotten 4 nights free at the Manchester Grand Hyatt or 2 nights at the Seabird or the Park Hyatt.
One night at the Park Hyatt, which
2 if you can get it at 30,000 points a night. So I just think that if you are a beginner, that is the best way for you to start. So as always, I'll put the links to the cards that we use to get Chase points, which we transfer to Hyatt, in the show notes. We'll also put a link to the Wolf in the Woods restaurant. I think that's about it. If again, any questions, follow us on Instagram, shoot us a message there. And thank you so much for listening.
We appreciate you. Have a good one.
Bye.